Okay, I'm going to do a tutorial on how to shape and trim your beard today. I've got 3 tools that I'm going to use, although obviously you don't have to use the exact same things I've got here. I've got this is actually a beard trimmer that's made specifically for this. It's smaller than the kind that you normally use to cut your hair and comes with some smaller lifts. It's really handy for getting at just tiny places when you're trimming, like right in here under the lip if you're going to trim that area, or getting in to trim the mustache right under your nose, and for making just the finer lines. It's really handy for those things. I also have an actual set of regular hair clippers here, the same kind you'd use for your head. That's useful because I've got some longer guards, so I can trim this longer part down here without having to cut it as short as I would with some of the guards for my beard trimmer. And then I've also got just this regular electric shaver here to clean up the areas after I've trimmed part of them back, the areas that are going to be just smooth skin. Obviously you could just as easily use a straight razor, or whatever is your preference there. It doesn't have to be one of these. Most tutorials focus on just defining 2 lines when you're shaping your beard. This line here, the cheek line, and the neckline right through here. I'm going to go over a little bit more detail, different places you can trim, different styles you can do. I'm going to start by going over these same areas. The neckline, a common rule that I've seen used, is to draw a line behind your ear and across, just like a chin strap from ear to ear, and just kind of naturally where that would fall across your neck. That gives you a really rounded line. That's kind of a place you can start. It gives you an idea of where you would want to cut that off. If you don't define this line, if you just let it grow all the way down, you're going to have a really unruly, bushy look. I guess if you're looking for just the total untamed mountain man look, that might be okay. But for most of us, if you want to trim it and shape it up, it's going to be important to define that line. But you don't have to stick with that really round line. You may want to get a square look that gives you kind of a square jaw. You can kind of follow the jawline to do that, kind of straighten it up a little bit across the edge here, and actually cut it a little bit straighter across here to mimic the square chin there. How far up you want to go? You don't want to go too far up or it's going to look weird. That's one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of people do make. Another guideline that's helpful there is to kind of just stand with your normal posture and look in the mirror and see where it kind of folds under, where it goes from being almost flat here, kind of being almost vertical with the neck. It's not a completely definite line, but it kind of gives you an idea of where that line should be. Obviously, it's a lot harder to see once you've actually grown out a considerable amount of hair in that area. But that's just kind of a guideline. Now, there are other places that you can trim that aren't covered as much. Across the upper lip is a common area that a lot of people actually do trim. You can trim this whole area if you want and leave kind of just a clear, clean shaven spot right through here. Or a lot of people do just a little patch here and a little patch there, and just kind of keep a little patch of hair through the middle and shave sort of the sides. That's something else you can do. You'll also see some people that keep just like this strip right here. So you can go ahead and take this all the way down, totally remove the mustache and what's on this lip. That's also an option. You can actually trim. I've seen some people just take scissors to trim here where the mustache is. You can also take one of these just like this and trim right there. That kind of keeps the hair, if you don't want to grow a longer mustache, it keeps it off of your lip where it can get irritating. What you don't see a lot of people discuss when they're giving tutorials on how to do this, you can actually trim the hair right here at the top side of the mustache. Some of us, if it starts to get long right up here at the top, some of those hairs will kind of curl and just kind of tickle your nose when you move your face a certain way. So you can eliminate that problem if you just trim just a little bit right there. So that kind of gives you an idea of the different things that you can do. What I'm going to do today, I'm going to bring this line back down a little bit. You can see I've done this before, but it's kind of gotten bushy and grown all out. It's kind of a mess right now. I'm going to bring this back down a little bit, maybe not as low as I've done it before. You can play a lot with this line. Like I said, I'm going to kind of square this up a little bit, but I really want to bring it in a little bit here because you can kind of see where when I bend my neck, you get this little piece that kind of fluffs out. I don't like the way it does that, so I want to bring that line particular up and square it as well. I'm going to do this little patches here and here a little bit. And I'm going to trim. I like to keep the mustache short and kind of out of the way. My wife likes it better that way too. So that's kind of what I'm going to do here. Let's get started. Now, after all that trimming, you might want to hop right in the shower to make sure you've got all that loose hair washed off. Finally, I like to apply a beard oil to my beard. This is something you do every day, not just after you shave or trim the beard. This one Smells kind of like a cup of fresh coffee. You can also get ones. This is actually one that I make myself. I sell them on Etsy at my Etsy shop, Humble Apothecary. There's also one that smells like a blend of spices. It's a very aromatic, sort of an attractive scent, very fresh. It's one that my wife likes a lot, and she also likes this one. There are also ones that smell like the forest, the outdoorsman's blend, and like a fresh wood being carved in a carpenter shop or woodworking shop. My wife doesn't care as much for those, but some women just go wild over them. There are a lot of different options out there. When you apply this, take this little dropper here, take some of this oil. It's just like a soothing, sort of a moisturizing and conditioning kind of a carrier oil with some essential oils added to it that have their own little benefits and also give it the scent. Take just a little of that depending on how much beard hair you have. You can use it if you've just got a little bit of stubble, even just a few drops. But usually a little more, of course, if you've got more beard hair. Rub this into your fingers, and you actually want to work it into the beard, get it all the way down to the skin, because it's going to help to keep the skin moisturized as well, but also get it all the way through the hairs. It's going to kind of condition the hair, kind of sleek it down a little bit, and keep the whole beard fresh and clean. Kind of rub it through there. Usually go back and get a little bit more, just a few more drops there. Rub it in, kind of go against the grain and kind of rub it in, get it all the way to the skin, and then kind of smooth it back down. Finally, to kind of spread it through evenly, take your comb and just comb through the beard. And make sure it's all evenly distributed and the beard comes out looking nice and neat. Typically, like I said, you do this every day. You can actually reapply it in the same day if you want to keep that scent going strong. If your skin is really oily, naturally you may just want to do it like every other day, just depending on your personal preference. But that's all there is to that.